This is episode 5 of the Rough and Tumble podcast. Thank you for listening. If you get a chance, please check us out on iTunes. Make sure you review and rate us there on iTunes. We just released all 5 episodes will be available on iTunes with the release of this podcast. So make sure you go catch up on the previous 4. You can also listen to us on YouTube, Google, and Spotify. So if you don't like iTunes, you can go check it out there. As well as give us a follow on Instagram.
We're at 75 followers right now. Those are rookie numbers. We need to pump those numbers up. So we're trying to get to 100 followers, and you can do your part by sharing the tag at the Rough and Tumble podcast, hitting the hashtag the Rough and Tumble podcast also. So help us get to our goal of 100 followers.
Yes, please. And then on Patreon, we also have a goal of $100 a month. We have started to gain some momentum with a couple of recent donors, and we hope to continue doing so. So please go check out our Patreon. We'll be releasing content in the near future.
So on October 1st, you guys can expect that new content coming from us. It's going to be members exclusive style stuff. So if you're donating to the Patreon and you're really supporting the podcast, we want to thank you guys a ton by giving you guys just a little bit of extra than what the average listener gets. So you can expect to see technique videos from Jonny and myself, different B-sides, rarities, that kind of stuff. Just things that you can't normally get from just listening to the podcast.
Episode 5, we'll be talking about ADCC, which is going on actually as we speak. So we'll be having a couple of the results from the semifinals, and we're going to try and catch up with the finals later in the episode. We're also going to be talking about a new obscure martial art,
Okichita, which is a Canadian Native American-based combative style.
I don't believe it. I think it's fake.
Parts of it are.
Yeah, it might be. We'll find out, though. So without further ado, let's get into the episode.
You're listening to the Rough and Tumble podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So I'm wanting to bring back the McDurn Thirsty Girl stuff because I spent most of the weekend looking up some the McDurn stuff.
That's right.
I think people appreciate the McDurn Thirsty Girl stuff. I've brought it up a couple times, and anytime I mention it, people are appreciating it. And I think the reason they appreciate it so much is because they think it's hilarious and they don't want to do the legwork themselves to go find it.
It's just to be clear, we're not making fun of the girls that are posting. We're making fun of the men who are commenting. It's not the girls who are thirsty. It's the men commenting.
I think it's important that we definitely make that clear. We're not making fun of Mackenzie Dern. We're making fun of the ridiculously sad, psychopathic young men that try to get in her pants by posting on her Instagram.
There are plenty of other reasons to make fun of Mackenzie Dern, though.
And sometimes they're super clever. Like sometimes I look on here and I'm like, man, that is super clever.
Yep. Some of them are well crafted.
Is Demi Lovato, was she a heroin addict?
Yeah, she was the singer that was a heroin addict, and then she got her blue belt, and everybody's like, oh my God, it's like getting a PhD.
The reason I ask is because while I was perusing McDurn's Instagram, she had done a photo shoot underneath a pier in California, where I guess she lives. And aside from all of the comments of people saying, I was just there, I didn't see you. Or one guy was like, I'm going to go back. We should meet there. like that was most of the comments, but then she was in a bathing suit, obviously, and one guy said was asking her if she would show her entire titty instead of just the apparent piece that she had shown.
That sounds like it's one word, entire titty.
Well, she said this person, Drew, said showed a whole titty.
As if she got on there and was like, damn it, I forgot.
I knew it.
I better get back on there and make another post quick.
I got to stop covering up these nipples. And then the reason I asked about the Demi Lovato thing is because I didn't get this joke at first, but now it's funnier because Karen Fallon said that Mackenzie Dern's is hotter than Demi Lovato's spoon.
Ooh, ouch. That hurts.
It makes more sense now.
Yeah.
Makes more sense now.
Well.
This one guy, which was one of my favorite ones, Adam Fingland, said, I PM'd you. It's not creepy. Could you check it out, please? If you have to preface it with, it's not creepy, I promise, it's probably fucking creepy. What else we got here? A lot of people were talking about how, because she's never made weight for a fight.
Right.
And a lot of people were talking about how she is obviously well on her way to losing the weight to make the fight. And
Yeah, she's been in good shape.
yeah.
I commented it.
Did you?
And let her know.
Was this you? Were
I
you the
said,
one?
Hey, babe.
Well, you have to speak in Portuguese first because apparently every white guy in America started speaking Portuguese only to talk to Mackenzie Dern.
They all think like that's going to be the ticket.
Yeah, yeah. And they usually always say it wrong. But this guy just said, sit on my face.
In Portuguese?
No. 100. And he's a fan of Alabama. So if that makes it any better. And
It's
then
what you'd expect from a person from Alabama.
I don't exactly understand this one, but it says, I'll stick my nose in that Derny. I think he's talking about her booty. I'm not sure. And this guy, his name is Heavyweight Champion of the World.
Oh, damn.
Could be anybody. With a name like that, could be anybody. But he wanted us to know that her bra can't even handle them titties.
What if that's Buchecha?
It's Buchecha.
He's like, guys, I needed to let you know. I found out when we dated that her bra can't contain those things.
I wanted the world to know.
Yeah.
And he probably looked at his friends. He was like, you don't think it's going to be too obvious if I put that I'm the heavyweight champion of the world,
Yeah,
right?
that's why his name is that. No, dude, make it heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, they'll never figure it out.
Oh, no way.
Joke's on us because it's just Portuguese. Duh is just Portuguese for in.
Yeah.
Oh, this one guy just wrote the word sex. That's all it says. It just says sex. I want to make sex with you.
Speaking of sex, you're probably wondering why I have all of this bachelorette
I was
bridal
wondering,
shower stuff for you.
but knowing you, I just assumed that you had an announcement to make to me.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the other day, and I was like, you know what? Me and Mitch never got to celebrate together. Him getting married or getting engaged. I
Getting
guess.
engaged.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is your bachelorette party. We have a little mini
you.
bachelorette party for you. There's a mini bottle of champagne. And,
Those are not malt balls. Those are gum balls.
Those are gumballs.
And it's a lot of gum. Johnny found that out earlier.
Yeah, I want to see how many you can eat through this podcast.
It's like the cinnamon challenge, but with gumballs.
I don't know if you saw that your glass says time to unwind. So let's crack open a little bubbly.
There's only enough in there
celebrate.
for you and half a shot for me.
Right. But I started thinking about, last episode, I felt bad, dude. Like, it was all about me. I felt selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think the rest of the
Mitch-
audience, I think the audience would agree that there was, although you do have a student that says I apparently talk too fucking much.
yeah, well, you have students that say that. So,
Well, but they say it to my face.
you come here and say it to my face in cursive.
Until she starts donating to the Patreon, her opinion doesn't matter to me.
No, I felt bad. Like Mitch just lost a match. And so first of all, I put the effort in to make this bachelorette party. And I
super
also, I don't know if I told you, but I spent a lot of time creating an intro for you.
Oh.
Like
I didn't know.
a special
Oh, in the
intro.
event that I potentially had won?
Yeah. Yeah. So it took me a lot of time to do this. I'm gonna warn you. You ready?
Okay.
And his name is John C.
Oh man, I'm so glad that we have sound effects now. It's so brilliant. We need to get some ice in these cups.
The ice is just
It's
melted
all like
into one
stuck
cube.
together.
It's mostly water now. Is this my cup?
Yeah.
It's okay that it has dog hair in it.
It's
That's
fine.
me blowing the dog hair out of the cup.
Here. Just a drink out of that.
I'm going to go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, are we sharing with anybody else?
No. I mean, like,
God damn.
dude, I've had your hands in my mouth. It's no big deal.
God, fuck.
Yeah, there we go. Just drop it on in there.
All right. What is that? Lamarca? That's some Lamarca.
Some good old Lamarca sparkling wine.
Sparkling wine.
Here, I'll let you go first.
2% by volume. Oh, it's Prosecco.
Persimmons. Oh, God.
I think that's even.
And this is how we lost all of our podcasting gear. Pouring champagne all over it. All right.
Perfect.
I've got another big bottle, too, if we want to get real
I'm
crazy.
gonna put a splash of sugar-free Red Bull in mine, too.
Throw some in mine. Why not? It's a celebration.
It's a celebration.
Cheers to Mitch getting married and having 13 kids and our 5th episode.
I like how we're doing this now, and I got engaged 5 years ago.
Did you really get engaged 5 years ago?
When did you think I got engaged? Like yesterday?
I don't know, dude. Obviously, I wasn't there. You didn't invite me to your engagement.
I don't think we were friends yet. I was still, you were still one of my arch nemesis back then.
Yeah. Was I really? Did you know who I was before you knew who I was?
No, I found out who you were. I still remember how I found out where you were. I told you, you posted some video of when you went on a trip to Brazil.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and the thing is,
Yeah.
I think the reason that I put you in my art nemesis category was because I was like, man, this guy's got tattoos. Obviously listens to good music. He's got cool hair. We should be friends. And because he's on another team, we're never going to be allowed to be friends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We proved them wrong.
Look at us go.
Look at us go. Now we're having an engagement party.
With gumballs and champagne.
Did you take the beta fish out of that bowl right before?
That is what it looks like. No, I'm supposed to make. Actually, we're gonna return that.
We're gonna.
We gotta take care of it. The sticker. She took the sticker off the bottom so we can return it. That's weird because, in all honesty, I'm not trying to be rude or sound rude. I didn't know who you were until.
Nobody does.
Until I'm also like. I'm kind of a fuckboy on social media, so I throw myself out there like a little whore.
Well, I had almost no social media presence for a lot of years.
And I think,
Almost
but I think
none.
it confuses people. Honestly,
Yeah.
it really does. People get a perception that's not necessarily true.
Well, we were both purple belts, and so we were kind of like in the same category. I'd seen you at a couple of competitions. You were on the fight card where you fought Wes Allen as purple,
Yeah.
and I fought Rice.
Justin Rice.
Justin
yeah.
Rice.
I will say this though, like purple belt, brown belt is really whenever I started focusing more on jiu-jitsu. So like purple belt and before, if you weren't doing MMA, you weren't on my radar at the
Right.
time. You know what I'm saying? So
No,
like
for sure.
even doing jiu-jitsu matches, I was just like trying to stay busy in between MMA fights.
Even back then for me, I was a small business owner. I was running my own gym as a purple belt. I was competing, but not a lot. I was under an organization that was not anywhere in Arkansas. So we had no reason to cross paths. Plus we weren't in the same division. There was no AGFs back then, you know. Only reason I really knew you was just because you had opened up Gravitas around
Yeah.
the same time I opened up my gym. And so I just saw that, but yeah, that's it. And then I saw you whenever you got knocked out by Ben Brewer. Oh, you didn't get knocked out.
No, I got choked.
Choked out.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Not choked out. I was awake. I got choked unconscious the fight after that by his teammate.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that guy, Ben Brewer? Like he was doing well, and then now I guess he's a a volunteer fireman somewhere.
I don't know. I don't want to. I think that he got. I want to say that I heard that he got in trouble for some banned substances and then just never came back. But I don't know that for
Yeah,
sure.
I never heard that, so you're probably making it up.
Yeah, the fact that I just put it out there makes it true. So it's out there.
75 people just heard it.
Speaking of steroids and performance enhancing drugs, have you been watching ADCC?
Yes, I've been following it. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm really happy that the ADCC is becoming what it is. I'm not the biggest no-gi fan, meaning that I don't, I'm not an anti-no-gi guy or prefer the gi. I actually really enjoy no-gi training. It's a lot of fun. It's fast-paced. It plays into my strengths. Everybody that was at ADC this year, for the most part, were fucking killers.
I felt like it was a lot of changing of the guard.
Man.
There's a lot of new faces.
Guys, I think Cyborg was like the only old school guy there.
Galvo and
Galvo.
Pena, but they're doing the
Super fight.
Yeah. I was actually impressed with like I can't remember his first name, but the Hiuloto brother, the twins from Atos.
Yeah.
That kid's like 15, 16. He beat Bruno Frazado.
And I've been following those kids for a long time. I mean, they were putting stuff out on YouTube and stuff like that as like yellow belts.
Yeah.
And they were just killing it. But they train in there's a mini documentary about those brothers. And they have like a training set up in their garage. So they're training every day.
They're homeschooled too.
Yeah, they're homeschooled. Yeah. And all they do is train jiu-jitsu. Like their parents were like, oh. And the thing is now there's a little bit of money to be had in the sport. Back in the day when we started, dude, the only way you were going to make money in jiu-jitsu was to open up an academy. That's it. You were not going to make any money any other way. But we all wanted to, right? We all thought like, I'm going to get a gi sponsorship.
They don't pay money, by the way.
They don't. And Hillary Williams will attest to that. Like, because I've had that conversation with Hillary Williams. And for anyone who's not familiar with Hillary Williams, she was one of the first, she was the first American black belt world champion.
American female world champion.
Yeah, you corrected me last time for that too.
Yeah.
American female black belt world champion. She was homegrown out of Westside MMA. What? Oh. She later went on to become a doctor. She's a doctor now. She's going into neurology. Super smart girl. She was sponsored by, it was Atama. It doesn't matter. A gi company. She's not sponsored by them anymore, so it's not like I'm fucking up her life by getting the sponsor wrong. MTX Auto and a couple of other things. And she even said back then, she was still trying to scrounge up money to pay for airfare. You know, at best, she would get them to cover some of her tournament costs as far as like, you know, membership or entry fees goes. But like, I mean, it was not easy. And she was sponsored by 3 fairly large companies back then. But now, man, I don't even remember what do you win? If you win the ADCC, how much money is it? $100,000?
Oh, I don't even know.
Dude.
You know what I am tired of hearing about, though, is fucking Fight to Win doing the promotion. Because I know afterwards, like, the stream wasn't that good. I don't know if it was my internet.
But it's Flow Grappling that's fucking up.
I was only getting one mat to work yesterday.
Oh, really? That's all Flow Grappling's problem.
But on top of that, just like, look in the background of the matches, and you just see it looks like it's in a gymnasium.
Yeah.
You know? And like when Budo Videos did it, it wasn't like that. It looked like it was a production. And then one of their refs had like, you know, black pants, black shirt, and then just an old shitty pair of yellow Nikes, like walking around on the mats. And
I don't know.
They weren't even wrestling shoes.
Were they Nike Blazers? Because if they're Nike Blazers, then.
You know, Seth Daniels is gonna make a post like next week, be like, to all the fucking haters out there talking shit about Fight to Win, blah blah blah. You're just jealous because I'm on steroids and I'm making millions of dollars.
I am jealous of Seth Daniels though, because he's actual friends with Maynard James Keenan, the lead singer of Tool, my favorite band. So I am a little jealous.
Well, then my idea holds up then. So
just douchebags hanging out with douchebags.
Yeah. Because that guy is he got a lot of flack for it. Did you see where he choked out his training partner doing they were like recording his a DVD, like Fight to Win techniques.
Was it on accident?
And he choked her out on accident.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
And she like tapped. He was like, "You're fine, don't tap," and then choked her out. But he got a bunch of flack for that. And like, I support the guy on that side, because if it were one of my friends, like if I were in there doing it, explaining a technique on you, and you tapped earlier, like, dude, quit being a bitch, come on. And then you go to sleep, I'd be like, oh shit. You wake up, I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I'd be making fun of you. Once I knew you were okay.
Of course.
But and everybody like freaked out, like, that's not the way you should have handled that, blah, blah, blah.
So I've competed on Fight to Win once. I lost that one as well to Todd Ryan. But my experience with Seth Daniels, he has some douchiness about him, as I think. But I think a big piece of that is that it's a part of the persona that he has to present, you know. But my personal dealings with Seth Daniels have always been pleasant. When we were setting up the matches and stuff and going back and forth, he was super accommodating. When it came back to setting up the match with me and Todd Ryan, I talked to him at the event in Oklahoma, mentioning how, you know, we were wanting to get something here in Little Rock. He seemed open to that idea, whether he remembers it or not. He was genuinely, you know, didn't come across as a douchebag. And I do follow his personal Instagram, you know, and he's got a, you know, he's got a son, and he's always there for his son. He goes to his football games, you know, and he's really involved as a father. So I always see the big picture, total package thing. So I look past some of the douchey stuff that he does, I think, but
I don't.
And I get it, you know. Speaking of not douchebags, that's a terrible segue, but I don't know if anybody who listens out there, and I always get his last name wrong, but Mike Kalimbus, the photographer, got his black belt.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he got his black belt. You know, Mike has been in the game for God knows how many years, everybody's had pictures taken by that dude.
Yeah.
Everybody since years and years. So it's kind of cool. I think he was kind of fucking around with jiu-jitsu from like white to purple, but then it seemed like purple to black, he got pretty serious.
I saw him competing quite a bit at brown belt.
Yes, exactly. So congratulations to Mike Kalimbas, who does not listen to the podcast, but we will tag him in the Instagram so that he'll maybe go take a look at it.
Now you don't have a choice.
And now you don't have a choice, and it's not your fault, but now you owe us $200. So
Yeah.
we want to thank our first sponsor, Mike Kalimbas.
Speaking of sponsors, we got a shout out we've got some shout outs for Patreon. We've got Jordan, who recently sponsored us.
Thank you, Jordan.
And then Alex, who is our first international. Sponsor. So here's one for you, buddy.
And his name is John.
So far, those are the only two sound effects that I've put on here.
Who needs anything else? Yeah, Alex is a good friend of mine, Alex Smith. He is actually in the Royal Air Force Army. I know that sounds weird to say Royal Air Force Army, but they do it really weird in the UK. So he's in the Royal Air Force, but he's in the infantry for the Royal Air Force. Kind of a badass,
They don't
actually.
even have real money there. They have
It's in pounds. Everything's in pounds.
They have
Frankincense.
frankincense and myrrh. English fun bucks.
English fun bucks.
Funny money.
But Alex is a purple belt under Hodger Gracie there in England, actually. And we met a couple of years ago when he was coming through Arkansas to do some cool guy shit down at Camp Robinson, shooting some guns and stuff. He's actually going to try to get on that team again so he can come back. So
We ought to have him. If he does, we ought to have him.
we should
on the podcast.
definitely have him on the
That'd be a good
podcast.
idea. Yeah.
He has been a really, really cool guy to me for a lot of years. We banter back and forth here and there on social media and stuff like that. He competes for the Royal Air Force grappling team. Does really well. He's a good grappler. And
It's the Royal Air Force Army Marine Team.
that's right. I don't even know if they have a Navy. Alex, do you guys have a Navy? I don't see.
They're a fucking island. They better have a Navy. Of
No.
course they have a Navy.
Maybe they only have a Navy, but I
They're
think there's only
like
like 5
surround-
ships. I think he's,
Where's he at?
and he's in the UK.
They have like one of the biggest navies.
Is England an island?
It's on an island. It's not like it's not an island on
Johnny,
its own.
None of that's true. There's no way you're going to tell
It's
me
attached to Ireland.
that's not an island. Then that's
Right.
a
That's
peninsula.
why I said that England is on an island, but it is
No.
not an island on its own. The United Kingdom is an island
So where's England at
in the United Kingdom.
So then England is on an island,
It is on an island.
and the UK is an island.
The UK is the island.
I got to look this up. I think you're making this up.
And then there's Ireland that's attached to it, and what's that other?
Well, I know that Ireland is an island because it's called the Emerald Isle.
Yeah, what's the other? Is it Scotland that's attached to it? I don't know.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you and the rest of the audience. I'm not the biggest geography buff,
Yeah,
and my brain, the way it works, is we have Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, that area. Everything north, I don't know where it's at.
yeah.
I know that Idaho is somewhere up there, but if you were to swap Colorado and Wyoming, just the names, and leave them where they are, I would assume that's exactly where they
That's
really
a tough
were.
one though.
Yeah, I don't know. Utah,
They're shaped the same.
if you were to swap Utah and Nevada, you would totally get over
Utah's
me.
easy. Those are easy. Nevada's got like that angle, that sharp angle at the bottom of it. I can identify. I think I could identify most of the states
We'll do that on the show.
on. Yeah,
We're actually going to do that on the show where we're going to bring up a map.
it's gonna be super fucking boring because you're gonna give me a piece of paper and then I'm gonna write out all of the states, and everybody's just gonna listen while I write out all of the states.
No, we'll make it better than that. Johnny, you were right. The United Kingdom is an island. It's attached to Ireland. It's just it's north of Belgium and France.
I figured out how to get the soundboard up alongside my notes so I don't have to switch back and forth between apps.
There's a lot of things that people don't realize that you guys hear the podcast and think it's a smooth, just this well-oiled machine, but it isn't. Johnny's usually it's like it's like that guy the one-man band guy that's got like
Yeah.
tambourines between his knees and he's like going around. Like that's what Johnny looks like mostly during the podcast.
I've got like 14 devices here that I'm hitting buttons on and
We have
going
3
back and forth.
monitors.
Yeah, I've got a 4th over there that's not even plugged in.
We're just
plus my iPad. Yeah, four total basically. Keyboard, the sound, the thing that controls the sound. I don't know.
all
what
I
that's
do
called. The
is
mixer.
I just provide a voice. That's it.
Yeah, good looks in a good
Yeah.
voice.
This does really good for a podcast.
Who do you? So Alex had asked us a question about.
Oh yeah, he asked about
GOAT
Haja.
status.
Yeah, he wanted to know our opinion on whether or not we believed that Haja Gracie was truly the GOAT. And if you're not familiar with what GOAT means, it means greatest of all time, right?
I don't think that there is a GOAT.
Yet.
I think it's like, I don't think that there can be a GOAT because, for instance, like, who's the greatest boxer of all time? Who do you think the greatest boxer of all time is?
Greatest boxer of all time probably would be Cassius Clay.
Okay, so that's if you're looking at it from a record point of view, completely not true. I mean, Muhammad Ali lost like 4 or 5 fights. He lost quite a bit, but because of the things that he did culturally, the things that he did during that time, makes him like the
He was
greatest
the best shit
of all
talker,
time.
though.
Yeah, and so if you're looking at numbers, people like Rocky Marciano, Floyd Mayweather would be considered
Floyd
greatest of all
Mayweather.
time.
But and what's funny is Floyd Mayweather, he's still undefeated, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't even consider him to be the greatest of all time
No.
because he's a fucking retard.
Yeah, and so that's why this argument on the GOAT is always like such a it's an opinion, honestly, because like
Yeah.
Hodger's great. I think he's definitely up there, but I think Marcelo
Garcia
is probably my GOAT.
I would put Marcelo Garcia as the GOAT as well, and here's why. So, because Haja Gracie was a 10-time world champion. I think he was a 4-time absolute champion, which has now been beat by Buchecha, has now beat that record, if I'm not mistaken. If not, tied it or come close to it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The thing about Marcelo Garcia is that even he didn't really, until he started doing the ADCCs, nobody really even knew who the hell he was. And then he started arm dragging and choking people out, and everybody was like, oh my God. But Marcelo was an unassumingly sized person, whereas Hager's a big motherfucker. You know, you watch some of his highlight videos, and he's getting away with a lot of stuff because he's so big. Like, you have to give some credit to that. Here's the other piece of that, though. That dude was finishing black belts from the mount with collar chokes.
Yeah, like super basic.
That's super basic.
shit.
When you have the ability to mount a black belt and collar choke them, I haven't collar choked another black belt since I've been a black belt.
But how many guys that size have you rolled with, and that's literally the only thing they can do?
I don't know. Mark Sniff's about the same size as Hager, and I can tell you, man, Mark Sniff is probably one of the best black belts in the state of Arkansas.
He fucking wrecks me, dude.
He fucks me up.
Yeah, he's real good.
And he's super nice about it the whole time too. Like every time we train together, he always says, "Man, you're really making improvements." I'm like, "Really?" It doesn't feel like it at all. But he's such a nice guy, super awesome guy.
I think Hodger is up there. He's like in top 5 for sure, top 3, top 5. But it's such a subjective question because like I think Marcelo is because of.
Well, you have to put Jacare in there too, though.
Yeah,
Ronaldo de Souza?
Jacare was amazing. Terere could have been in there had
If he hadn't had a
drugs and schizophrenia.
Get you every time.
Yeah, there's in Cabrinha. I think Cabrinha. Yeah, he had the what was it? 2 years ago, he had the
most
Super Grand Slam or whatever.
Where he had gotten, he had won all 3, the Pans, the Europeans, and the Worlds.
And ADCC.
Yeah,
so he was the first not only to do all. Wait, no, I think there's a handful that have done all 3.
They
I'm
have.
not sure.
They have. Yeah,
but he was the first to do all 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So it really, to Alex, to kind of give you some perspective, it all just comes down to what is the grading criteria.
And who are you going to see on the mats the most often?
Right.
Being your geographical location, I'd stick with the Haja Gracie argument.
Yes. Yeah. You're going to run into Haja way more than we are, Alex. So I would definitely, you go around, and in fact, if you need to get a shirt made that says Haja Gracie is the GOAT, I would highly recommend it.
As long as he stays on that side of the ocean.
That's
Haja
right.
Gracie don't come over and this
Don't
shit. You don't know nothing about Arkansas.
I guarantee he doesn't know where Arkansas is.
No.
Which is good for us.
Yeah.
So,
You'll
but
never hear this.
but yeah, again, thanks Alex for the question, and thanks so much for the support, man. It's really cool to even think that people on the other side of an ocean are listening to this podcast. So,
It is really crazy. We have
I know
several different countries that are listening. It blows me away every time somebody subscribes to our Patreon, any of that stuff. I'm just like, what?
people give a shit.
Yeah, what are you guys doing?
For the longest time, me and Jonny thought that we were just recording into a computer, but it wasn't actually going out to anybody.
Yeah. It's inside the computer?
There was a episode of The Office where they did that, where Michael Scott thought that he had started a podcast, but it was just one of the guys had just given him a recording device, and so he was just.
Yeah, this podcast has been going so much better than what we'd expected. The only problem now is we're starting to run out of jokes and starting to run out of crap to talk about. So,
well, we did take some pictures today.
oh yeah.
So those are going to be, keep an eye out for those. Jonny and I took some professional pictures that we're going to release on the Instagram. And so definitely, please, it'll give you guys a chance to see.
And in some of your homes.
And if you start finding them on your nightstand next to your bed, just take it. It's okay.
Most of our followers, or most of our Patreon contributors are like in the area. So it'd be pretty. What if we broke into their homes and then placed little gifts from us all over?
You have me at breaking and entering.
Yeah.
So I'm down.
We were trying to figure out a way to get into prison so that we could learn the 52 blocks. If only there was a way to get into jail.
Why didn't you just go?
It out.
Yeah. Why didn't you just go to? Just go ask them. You don't have to go into prison. They have visitation schedules.
Ask them to teach us. But you had done a bunch of research. I've done no research on this new martial art. I looked at it briefly, thought that it looked fake, and then shook my head at it and moved on with my life.
So one of the things that I like about what we've been able to do with this podcast is we've gotten to explore different martial arts and combative systems and stuff like that, which I recently found out there is a difference between a martial art and a combative system while I was researching this. So the martial art or the combative system that we're talking about is called Okichi-ta, and I'm probably saying that wrong, Okichi-ta. And it's a guy out of Canada is the one that developed this.
There's the first red flag.
That's your first red flag right there.
Canadians are not violent by nature.
No. And if you watch the videos, it's not a violent martial art. So supposedly it is a fighting combative style that originated from the Plains Cree First Nation, which kind of is around the Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba area, and it's a combative fighting style. And the premise is this guy named I wrote his name down. Where is it at? He's got a stupid name. Oh yeah, George Lapine. Yeah,
Good old Lapine.
Old Lapine, and I'm probably saying that wrong. It's got an accent on the E. But
That's French for the penis. Lapine.
So Jorge Lapine, he's the one that founded this. And when I was doing my research, I kind of started following down. I got super excited, I should say, when I first discovered it because Native Americans are kind of badasses, right? I mean, they kind of came up during a time where they were legitimately fighting each other tribe-wise. They were fighting against the American military who were trying to encroach on their territories. Not to mention, I mean, they've been fighting since white people came to America. Yeah. And so I was like, man, this is going to be a pretty cool thing to dive into. But then I realized that he established it in 1997. So supposedly this guy is a Native American, or as he calls himself, an indigenous person out of Canada. And he started looking into the roots and things like that, and wanted to spread the combatives of his people, like I said. And so where it starts to get kind of dicey is that there's no writing down. They didn't write this down. It was all spread through like oral traditions, Mm-hmm. So in my head, I'm thinking like, man,
we saw where that got us with the Bible.
Yeah, you see how that turned out. And so, but the dude started out doing other stuff. But so he started out in martial arts in like the 80s, where he was doing kung fu.
That's like the hotbed of bullshit martial arts.
Yes.
Is the 80s.
So he was in that whole thing. I was reading, he practiced Japanese judo for 3 years and got a brown belt. I didn't know that there was a different style of judo.
I don't think that there is.
But maybe because he's in Canada, he wanted to emphasize that it was Japanese.
Japanese, not American
I don't know.
judo.
He's not American judo. He also practiced Hapkido and some other things like that, and got really into it and kind of followed down that path. Got really into Taekwondo and got his 20th degree in Taekwondo. I think it took him about 6 months. And so he was talking with the quote unquote elders during this time. And they were like, this is literally a quote from him. He said in an article that the elders told him, George, you have got to spread the word. You know, like they were like, if you don't, then our combative style will die.
And that's when Peter Griffin dropped in and said, the bird is the word.
And so he took it upon himself to decide that he would be the John Smith of
I was just about to draw that line.
he would be the John Smith of this combative style in order to spread the word so that it didn't die. And then he goes on to say that one night a spirit animal came to him and gave him 2 gold tablets, and he put them in a hat with some mirror stones, and he would put his head inside the hat, and then that's
Stupid.
that's how the Mormons came up with Mormonism.
The thing that I think is funny is like everybody struggles so hard to make. We even see it in jiu-jitsu to make a system out of something. Like it has to be organized. It has to be in this structure. When I don't think like, dude, you can make a high school martial art. You know what I'm saying? Like martial arts that have come up through American high schools of some kind of rule system.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah, like what's number 1 rule? Always take it outside. Number 2 is
You're just reading off the rules from Roadhouse.
yeah. If it goes to you can't fight on the ground because everybody knows that's that pushy shit. And as soon as it hits the ground, what does everybody say in high school?
Break it up.
Come on, guys, break it up.
Okay.
Get them back up. Let them back up. And then number 3 is that you have to have the magic circle, which we learned from Rough and Tumble.
We did learn it from Rough and Tumble.
But that doesn't mean we're going to turn around and like codify it and make it into this like ranked structure martial art. Whereas
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. That's a
I've been
cash
looking
cow
for
right
a way
there.
to make. I got a Polaris razor I've got to pay off.
Yeah. But there's like I'm sure that Native Americans in Canada and all over Native American had fighting techniques that they practiced with one another and that they taught down the line. I don't think that it was a system where they all got together.
No, I agree.
Tuesdays and Thursdays and practiced their tomahawk katas out in the plains. Doing that kind of thing.
Coincidentally, George does offer classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays at his what he calls the lodge, not the. It's not a.
Of course, it's the lodge. I'm
lodge.
surprised it wasn't named the teepee.
Because that's racist.
Right.
They do wear gis, which I put a question mark next to it. Actually, I put gi LOL.
Yeah, which like, why do you have to introduce that part of it?
That made no sense to me. I got it. I was just like, if you're trying to keep the culture and tradition of your Native American combative style, why would you add in a Japanese gi? And it's a jiu-jitsu gi. There were like, in the video, there were like 5 people wearing badass Atama gis. And I was like, this guy's got an Atama sponsorship and he doesn't even train jiu-jitsu. And I'm over here taking hand-me-downs.
Yeah. They can't, they can't practice in loincloths.
Well.
This is 2019. You realize how much a headdress costs?
That's true.
That's cultural appropriation right there.
Is.
That's expensive shit.
He did compare it to, what he compared it to was Krav Maga, Salat, and Sambo. They do some weapon stuff, and they use what's called the Gun Stock War Club, which is really just a club that looks like a fake gun. It literally looks like a gun. It looks like like you whittled a gun out of wood, but then decided not to make the rest of the gun.
That's weird.
And then it's okay that you're yawning during my story.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus.
You got up at like 10 o'clock this afternoon.
His name is John C.
If that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will.
Fuck with me again. I'm in charge here.
But yeah, so he's been pushing this whole thing. There's 2 phases. You go through, like, there's the phase, it's basic classes and then advanced class. So basics is just
And somehow only females are allowed into the advanced class. That's where they introduce the loincloths.
it's the only time he takes his gi top off.
Yeah. And now we're going to get into a little bit more traditional style.
Yeah, it's
Everybody, come jump into my teepee.
I'm going to show you a picture of what this guy looks like. I know that the listeners can't see it, but we will post a picture of it on our Instagram. We'll post this picture of this
Don't
guy.
make those kind of statements.
No,
You
I
don't
think
know
it's
what
going
I'm
to be
gonna
great that we're going to do it. I think we should. I don't know why I immediately went to Instagram. Like, that's where I'm going to find this
So
guy.
while you're doing that, I'll tell the reason why I didn't study and research it all over this martial art was because on Tuesday my grandpa died. But no, don't worry about it. He's fine. So Tuesday morning he legit died. His pacemaker, I guess, was going off, and that's what brought him back to life. He was like resuscitated by the EMS or whatever. And so he was brought back to life, was in a coma, and by the time I got to Springfield the next day, I walk into the what a nerd. I walk into the room, and my grandpa's like, "Hey, John." I was like, "Hey, Grandpa, how you feeling?" He's like, "Oh, I'm fine."
You don't sound dead.
Yeah, I was like, "Well, you died yesterday." And he goes, "I reckon so. I don't remember any of it, though." I was like, "All right, well, good seeing you. Glad you brought us all here."
Glad
Yeah.
I'd have better things to do on a Wednesday.
Yeah, Grandpa's like, "Glad I gathered you all here. I've written you all out of my will."
And then he's like, now that I've got you all here, I want to talk to you guys about an investment opportunity.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Advocare? No, that guy that Mitch just showed me the picture of the guy that created whatever it is, Choctaw Casinos, martial arts. Choctaw martial arts.
He's actually got a dojo in Mississippi where they have all the casinos.
Yeah.
What's that place?
Oh yeah, what is that place called?
I keep wanting to. No, that's not Tupelo.
That is right.
That's not right.
Tupelo?
Not even close.
I don't know. It's like the Las Vegas of the South.
Yeah,
Branson, Missouri.
that's right. You're the.
Yeah, the guy's a fucking nerd. I don't buy this martial art.
I don't
for
either.
1 second.
I think what happened. And here's the thing: who gave him his fucking black belt?
Yeah,
Because he's wearing a black belt.
The elders.
The elders did. The elders
gave
were.
him this black belt. And if you probably wanted to go talk to the elders now, you can't because they're all dead.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have to talk to their spirit animals. The only other piece I'll mention on this is that I did think it was interesting when it asked, like, where do you hold classes at? He mentioned that they hold them at the lodge. But every now and then they go outside so they could be in nature and be one with their indigenous peoples. Again, anytime they go outside on these camping trips, it's just him and all the females.
Yeah.
And they only do belt testings during solstices. So winter, I guess, and summer solstice. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's a toss-up because it honestly, it could be something to do with the beliefs and the religion of the Native Americans or the indigenous people. And he decided to plug that into the martial art. I don't think that they went outside and were like, okay, you're gonna test for your tomahawk badge this winter solstice.
Speaking of which, wait till you see the photos.
Yeah, I may or may not actually have a tomahawk badge. But then trying to incorporate that into the martial art, I don't think is necessarily wrong. Because again, it's something that you're making up entirely. You're doing testing. Like, nobody's testing on fighting skills. I think that's a silly thing anyways.
They did an interview with a girl who said that her boyfriend got into it and started training because he's apparently half indigenous person. And then he got her into it and it got her off drugs.
And they're both still virgins.
I think they're both still on meth.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it helped anything. But like in the video, they're wearing the beaded necklaces, like the real thick, long beaded necklaces, you know,
Yeah.
and she is as white as, like, she is not an indigenous person.
Right.
She's just in it because she heard that he gets a stipend from his reserve, you know, his reservation. And she just wants in on that. But apparently she was, and from the looks of it, honestly, I don't think meth was her problem. I think that the drive-through was her problem. So
It's getting like the meth addicts to try out your martial art, buy into it, and then get off drugs and still believe in it is not you're picking the lowest hanging fruit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Those are the same people that went to Mount Carmel with David Koresh.
yeah.
like,
wow, you con this meth head into believing that you have magic hands and can do all these things.
she was she was one Tinder date away from being in like the Haley's Comet cult, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just this guy came along first. She was just looking for anything at this point, and she found him. Good for her though, because it could have been a lot worse for her.
And you know, there could be worse cultish martial arts to be a part of. It sounds like they're just going out into the woods and finger banging each other. So I don't know what else. I mean, there could be worse things to be involved in.
Can you like? I just had this like thought in my head where you were saying that because we were joking about how he just takes all the female students out there and finger bangs them. But like, when do you decide to go to the next one? Like the next girl, you know, like if you're just finger banging.
Oh yeah.
You know, like all right, you've had enough. Next.
Well,
this is weird.
If you're in charge, you can. I mean,
you would delegate the finger banging.
God spoke to you that she had enough of the finger blasting, so she needs. Or he. It could be.
It could be
him too. Yeah.
We're not trying to be ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know. Finger blast anybody. Come my way. Here we go.
I actually walk around with my fingers ready to go.
Yeah.
In case somebody trips and falls on my finger.
It's blasting time. Yeah. Sorry to let everybody down. We discovered a fake martial art. We ought to let Mr. McDojo know about it and see if.
Oh yeah, he can look into it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what his process is or how his process is different.
Well, Atama, if you're listening, if you wanna sponsor actual martial artists, Jonny and I are always looking for sponsorships.
Yeah,
if you want to lay off the. Then again, maybe I don't know. Maybe there's like it's a donation thing where they give to charities or something like that, and that's where those gis came from. I don't know.
I might even make a new sound clip just for a new sponsor. I actually had a guy. One time he came. Oh, I got to tell you about this. We had a guy one time come in wearing a gi from a gym in North Carolina that I'm affiliated with. And I was like, dude, you come from Steve's gym? And he's like, no, I don't know who that is. I was like, yeah, you're wearing his patch. He's like, oh, yeah, they like donate these to veterans. And I just picked this one out of the bunch. I was like, cool. He's like from Las Vegas, got a gi that somebody donated from North Carolina that comes to Arkansas. To one of the affiliate gyms.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What a connection.
I had I used to have a Little Dragons class, like 5 to 7 year olds. I canceled that class because
nobody was showing up.
There's just, it's like $50 a month and no kids are going. So then the day that I chose to cancel it, of course we get like fucking 15 kids in that class. And now everybody's interested in it. But anyways, one of the dads, he's just, you can look at him and tell what kind of person he is, just scumbag. He's talking to me and he goes,
is it one of your current students' dads?
Yeah. He's not listening to this. He probably can't figure out how to use his phone. He's talking to me and he goes, man, I see how useful some of this stuff is, like the shrimping. Even though it sounds gay, it seems super applicable. And I was like, his 5-year-old's like right there. I was like, yep. Okay. He's like, it sounds like super gay, but it's useful. I was like, God damn it, dude.
At first glance.
Yeah. Which I've 5 episodes now, and I've been meaning to tell you about when I almost did gay porn.
Oh, I forgot all about this. Yeah, you mentioned
forgotten
this
it every single
time, and you brought it up again at the Submission Under Pro fight where you said, "Don't let me forget to tell you about the time I almost did gay porn."
Yeah, really close. I had to set my price actually. So
what?
Yeah, I'd gone out and taken like pictures with a friend. Like I really enjoy photography and whatever, but he had posted a picture of me. Like we're out in the woods, and there was a picture of me on his Instagram.
Were you naked?
No,
Oh,
I was just fully clothed. There was just us hiking in the woods. It was
just
a good picture.
Deer antlers and stuff.
Yeah. And so I get a random friend request after this pops up. Okay, whatever. It's a dude. It's another photographer. Cool. Like a day goes by, and then I get a message from him, and he's like, "You mind if I ask you a question?" Or, yeah. You mind if I ask you a question? I'm like, "Yeah, sure, dude. Go ahead." And he goes, Have you ever thought about doing nudes, or like doing photography nudes? And I was like, no, not really. Like, I'm super uncomfortable with my body. Like, I don't even like being naked enough to do my job. And like, but for the right price, I'll do just about anything, you know, like $1,000, I'll show a butt cheek. I don't care. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, you know, like,
Just get the show butt cheek.
yeah, like I'm going to turn around, you know, have a cute little smile with my butt cheeks hanging out. And so, and not thinking like, there's no way he'd ever pay me, right? He responds, okay, I understand. But, you know, like, I do pay my clients or the people that I shoot for. And I was like, I'm not going to ask how much. I'm not going to ask how much. I'm not going to ask how much. So I was like, well, what are you thinking? And at first he's like, $200. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, honestly, I wouldn't even start thinking about it till about 1,000. And he goes, we can make that happen. I was like, oh my God, no. And so then I'm like thinking about, okay, what are you using this for? And he's like, it's for my portfolio. Okay, great. Like, can you send me some pictures of maybe some examples? The first one is like this overweight, hairy guy that's like on the stairs of an apartment. You know, like they always have the fire escapes or whatever. He's like sitting on the stairs with his butt cheeks, you know, like nothing crazy. Next one's like another guy, same thing, like no dong or anything. The last one is this guy squatting over the top of a horse trough, like that horses drink out of.
Yeah.
It's full of water. He's butt ass naked with a cowboy hat on, with his dangly bits hanging like inches above the water, so you can see the reflection in the horse trough.
That's super artistic.
And that's where I had to draw the line. I was like, no, I can't do it.
Can you imagine what the next picture would have been?
What?
Because he was obviously gradually building up to the part where it's a cucumber in a guy's butthole.
And I started asking him, I was like, so for your portfolio, but like, what are you going to do with the pictures? And he was like, they're just for my portfolio. I'm like, but who sees the pictures? Just me. So why do you have these pictures for my portfolio? I'm like, this is a circle that's never going to end. You're never going to give me the honest answer. What are you doing with these photos?
At no point did he mention the .gov website that he's on.
Yeah. So for those interested, $1,000 for my butt cheeks. You're gonna have to go more for the King Kong Ding Dong.
People need to realize that just because a picture's in black and white doesn't make it an artistic photo.
Yeah. There's still a penis in that
It's
picture.
still a dick there.
Yeah.
I told you about the time that multiple times in my life, and I'm sure the same for you, that you've been asked, would you suck a dick for $1 million?
Yes.
Right?
That's my answer.
That's your answer? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the conversation came up at Westside, and I always thought it was funny because the individual said, it's tax-free. What?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Of course, I thought it was already going to be tax-free.
Well, because if it was a gift, you'd have to give up like 40% of that $1 million.
And see the tax bracket, what is that, 22% tax bracket? I don't even know. So really, you're not even getting $1 million.
No.
But
you're getting like a fraction of that with taxes.
right.
Do they tax on dick sucking?
Well, it's still money.
It's probably labeled as dong huffing.
It's a dong huffer.
Yeah.
Is that where you put a dong in a plastic bag and huff
When
on
you're
it?
filling out your taxes, guys, make sure you look for dong huffer, not dick sucking.
We had a guy one time, and I think I've told you this before, where we asked him that, and he, without skipping a beat, made us fully aware of the fact that we would have to pay him $10,000 to stop sucking a dick.
Yeah.
So
I can pay for therapy with that kind of money.
you know, people always say that. I don't know
that I would need therapy.
I would need therapy.
Yeah.
Why would I need therapy? Like, I know what I did was wrong, but I also know that it's not something I enjoy.
I'm not even going to say that what I did was wrong. What I did was not within my taste.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
Penises are not within my taste, my palate. And so
It's not, I mean, I don't know. Did you ever watch that?
Maybe they're delicious. I've never tasted one.
That's the thing that scares me,
Yeah.
honestly. And so
It's the same reason I won't do cocaine. I think I've said that before, dude.
because you know how amazing it's going to be.
Oh man, I'd be hooked.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's a party drug for a reason.
We're talking about penis.
Dicks are a party
really
drug.
The party drug, yeah.
If we're being honest.
Honestly, that's the party drug to end all party drugs.
It's all perspective.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that documentary on Netflix? I think it's called Taken in Plain Sight, where this guy kidnaps this little girl but like the parents are strangely okay with it. And he like manipulates the whole family, and he starts sleeping with the mom, like having sex with the mom. And then he convinces the dad of the family to give him a hand job. And so he's got them squared away.
This sounds exactly like one of my MySpace escapades.
And then he convinces the 14-year-old girl that she has to come with him to the desert because aliens have challenged them with the intent on repopulating the earth after they destroy it.
That sounds exactly like a scheme to get a 14-year-old to sleep with you. I mean, like, if you were a pedophile trying to write out a plan to get a 14-year-old to have sex with you,
That is
that would be it.
101.
Yeah.
That is pedophilia
Aliens.
101.
Yeah. Listen, we got to go storm Area 51. It's got to happen now.
Really, it was all over social media. I watched it thinking it was going to be a more serious Netflix documentary, and then you watch it and you're like, this is fucking ridiculous.
I'm starting to think that some of the movies that they're making, they make specifically for memeability.
Oh,
If
yeah.
that's a word. Because you remember, what was the one where everybody had the blindfolds on?
Bird Box.
Bird Box. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did that one. They did the opposite of that where nobody could talk.
Oh, with Ryan Reynolds?
No, with
Quiet Place?
Jim Halpert from The Office.
Oh, it was Jim Halpert from
Jim Krasinski.
John Krasinski?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've realized the marketability from memes
Oh, yeah.
and just started to look for that. In
Every Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah, that's true.
There's another documentary on Amazon called Good Night Sugar Babe. It's actually really sad, but I watched it the other night. The mom of this family basically conspires to have her son and some other people kill this handicapped girl, but there was no connection that she had actually been involved with it. But there's they talk to the killers, and the killers are stabbing this girl, right? Well, they end up taking her clothes off. Why? Well, because the knife they were using was super dull, and so they couldn't stab through the clothes, so they had to strip her naked to stab her, which even then it wasn't very successful. Then they're interviewing the mom, and she's like, I don't know why they stripped her naked. Maybe because the knife was super dull and it wouldn't go through the clothes. I don't know. I'm just guessing. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, the only people that would know that detail were the people who killed this little girl.
Right.
And you just guessed. You just guessed exactly the same reason, I don't know. I wasn't there.
I'd seen I get in the habit of watching like these top 5 real ghosts caught on camera or top 15
Did I ever tell you
scary
my ghost
things
story?
on Reddit. I think, yeah, it's stupid. I'm not falling for that one again. But I get I'm fucking terrified of these things, and I'll still watch them. But one of them was top 5 911 calls or whatever. There was this woman who had a chimpanzee for
Is that the one that ripped his face off?
yeah.
Yes.
And they played the 911 call. Have you heard it?
And you can hear the monkey in the background
Yeah.
still ripping the lady's face apart.
It almost sounds comical because you hear this lady screaming like, oh my God, she's killing him. And you hear in the background, rah, rah, rah. Like, what the fuck? Is
What's
there a
even
monkey back
crazier?
there?
Is there a monkey in that? Can you tell the monkey to be quiet?
Yeah.
What's even crazier is they said that the reason that the monkey attacked her was because she gave a different monkey like a birthday cake.
No, that might have been a different one. The one that
Does this happen a lot?
I guess so. I think I've actually heard the one that I know what you're talking about.
Like the monkey got jealous and ripped her face off.
Yeah, this one in particular, it was full huge chimp. It wasn't a small one. This thing was massive. And a lady had come over, and the owner had, I guess, been giving it a mix of Prozac and something else.
Oh.
And Prozac causes some kind of crazy...
The complete opposite of what you would want it to do.
Right, in monkeys. It just makes them fucking berserk, I guess. And he just flipped a switch and went nuts.
You know what? Good for him.
Yeah.
You're getting medicated by a human that's giving you all these drugs and stuff. You know what?
Rip some faces off.
Dude. Good for you.
That's
Good
what
for you.
Yeah, that's what we do on Crocodile and bath salts.
Yeah.
So
You remember whenever they were having all the the news stories of people who were taking bath salts and then like they thought the zombie apocalypse was coming up because they kept eating people's faces and stuff?
It always starts in Florida, too.
Yes.
Yeah, always starts in Florida.
I wonder,
migrates its way up.
you know, because they say that you could just type in anything into Google and just put a man in Florida and then put a date and it comes up with it.
With something just like crazy.
Uh-huh.
That'd be a good game to play.
Well,
on
I'm doing
the
it
air.
right now.
We should do that.
What's today's date? Today's the 29th of September. Even though everybody's going to hear this on the 30th of September.
I had another person ask me that they wanted us to go into like the economy of running a gym, which I think would be a good one, so a good perspective to give. However, I'd really like to do it when we have another gym owner on air.
Someone with a successful gym?
Yeah, someone who actually knows how to run a business. I run my business based. I've said it before. I try to base my business on autonomy, trying to make everything kind of function automatically, so that I can spend more time on the mats.
Yeah.
And this week, I've spent no time on the mats and no time behind the counter because my wonderful students have covered for me while I was.
I was wondering how you were doing your open mats before doing these.
Daniel and Jared are up there.
Well, it's about time Daniel started doing something.
I know, freaking right.
Jesus Christ, soccer mom bodied motherfucker.
Yeah, well, he did have he had like blood clots in his brain or something.
Get out of town.
Yeah, he's whining about it.
What a baby.
Yeah, he's going to have brain surgery or whatever.
You know,
relearn how to walk and stupid crap like that.
Golly.
If he would have learned how to walk the first time, he wouldn't have to.
God wouldn't have come down and said, you know what, do over.
Yeah. But he's okay now, so he's not going to have
sounds like
brain surgery.
Sounds like somebody was faking it.
Yeah, that's 2 in 1 week.
That's 2 brain clots?
Well, my grandpa obviously was faking it.
Oh, yeah, he was. He got you guys up there. So how did you buy a lot of Herbalife whenever you were up there?
Yeah, I come back with boxes of fucking Advocare.
A man caught a woman on fire today in Florida, so.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. They make it sound like she just caught on fire.
She did.
We don't know.
She was like that when I got here.
Yeah. I was sitting here with a blowtorch.
It happens every time.
Total accident. We're getting to an hour. These episodes are getting so much easier to do now because we actually plan and think them out. We're getting more comfortable with talking on the microphone. I think that if anybody has any suggestions for interviews, we're getting really close. We've got a 3rd microphone now, and we kind of wanted to spend some time to settle into our groove of the podcast. We've got some ideas of people that we want to interview, but we really want to go outside of the box. We don't want to, if we get a jiu-jitsu fighter or an MMA fighter, we kind of want to find maybe a different spin on it.
Right.
That maybe you haven't heard from yet, and try to ask those questions to those people, as well as like just things that maybe don't get talked about the most, people that maybe you feel should be heard that aren't heard. We want to be able to talk to those people. Right. Controversial or not, we've even talked about bringing in people like trying to find a cult leader.
Mm-hmm. My buddy Joey just texted me and said ADCC is full of disappointment today. I don't know if I agree with that statement because from what I saw,
we're about to flip it on here in about.
And then he also said that he thinks that Gabby Garcia should be fighting in the men's divisions.
Dude, it's so back and forth with those girls. There's either a girl that's her size or a girl that's
there's no girl
like
her size.
My size.
She's been on HGH for God knows how long.
But anyways, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one. We're planning on doing a 2nd episode today. So one of the things that we've been talking about is we'd like to start getting sponsorships for our episodes. We're 5 episodes in now. We've got an audience. We've really been working hard at putting out valuable content and continuously putting out content because that's the number one key. And we're getting to that point where we want to start looking for sponsorships, companies to support that we can support, that we believe in, and that will support us likewise.
And preferably local sponsorships.
Yes.
We're not going to turn down an out-of-state sponsorship, but the idea is that we can actually give back to the local Arkansas community because both of us are or have been a part of small businesses here in the state. And so obviously we want to give back to the other small businesses, and the areas that we live in, there's a ton of great startup businesses in these areas. So we definitely want to try to help these guys out. You can expect this podcast, and then we will have a bonus podcast most likely coming out on Wednesday.
Yes.
dealing with the ADCC, watching the finals, and giving up our opinions about what we're seeing on there. So you should get 2 episodes this week. Looks like one of them's just going to be a bonus episode, but
Eventually, we'd like to do like a watch along where we can stream live and watch the fights, and then people can kind of time it up with us and watch. Again, we're building it as we go. There's still some things that we have to purchase and kind of go from there.
which is where you guys come in.
Hey yo. But yeah, so if you know of any businesses, please share our podcast with them. Maybe we can help them out. Maybe they can help us out. Share with your friends. Subscribe to our Patreon. We've already kind of gone through that. We're also trying to grow our Instagram. You can listen to us on YouTube, Google, Spotify, and now finally on Apple iTunes.
Please leave a review and a rating, preferably between 4 and 5 stars.
Yes, please. Don't leave a rating if you're going to give us 1 star. Fuck you. You can just text me and tell us how bad we suck.
Yeah, you can tell that to our face. You don't have to do it on iTunes.
But that's huge for us. We've been working hard to get that done. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to get approved by freaking iTunes. It's insane, all the hoops you have to jump through, or just get it right the first time. But yeah, other than that, that'll be the end of episode 5. And thank you for listening. Come back next week on Monday for episode 6 and Wednesday for the ADCC episode.
See ya.